Sarah's possessed.
Hi.
Hi. How's it going?
Needed a big stretch. Kind of tired.
I know. I am tired. And we got, it's Sunday, so we're back to work first thing tomorrow. Boo.
Boo.
I like my job, but I just don't want to go.
I think tomorrow will be a good day for me. I'm not too worried about it.
I'm not either. I'm going to make some crafts with my kids.
Crafts?
Yeah.
I just restocked on all my little activities. I got new puzzles and matching games and a new fidget.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm going to do some sensory bottles. I wore a spooky sweatshirt this week.
Same.
Spooky season.
I've been wearing my two spooky sweatshirts.
Interchangeably.
Yes. No, I'm wearing them both. I just alternate which one's on top.
Duh.
I'm the
She
bad
sweats
guy.
through one, and then she changes it to the bottom.
No. No.
Sarah's disgusting.
Yeah.
AKA Sarah's gross. Hashtag it.
No, I've been alternating between my two sweatshirts, and then I'll throw a random one in because, I don't want to wear them too much.
I legit told Steven before I left home, I was like, I really have to amp up my Halloween gear shirts, aka this next couple weeks, because November 1st, Christmas sweaters.
Oh, you start that early?
Yeah, don't you know me at all?
Shut up, I know. I was literally about to say, I actually really should get like a Thanksgiving shirt or sweatshirt.
Do you know Jane, the shirt website? Have you heard of it?
Yeah, that's where you pointed me in that direction for Harry Potter shirts.
Yes, lots of Harry Potter shirts. And you guys are not my kids, so I can say this out loud. We are going to Universal Studios Christmas Day. And my kids don't know. Merry Christmas. So we have to get lots of Harry Potter shirts. But before that, I'll wear Christmas. My goal in life is to have enough Halloween shirts to wear the entire month of October, and then enough Christmas shirts to wear all of November and the majority of up until Christmas, December. That's my goal.
So you need a second closet?
I do. My whatchamacallit, the seasonal shirts portion of my closet is stacked. Like, there's so many for Valentine's Day,
I don't have a single Valentine's Day shirt. I have an ugly sweater for Christmas, and then I have a Grinch t-shirt. That's it.
I've got like 20 Christmas shirts. I'm not there yet. I want to be able to wear a new one every single day from November 1st until December 25th. My goal. We'll have our dream home maybe soon, so I'll have enough space.
Maybe soon?
Huh?
Maybe soon?
Like next summer?
Really?
Yeah. That's the goal. Fingers crossed.
So you have to start looking now.
Our goal is to be moved into something by the start of the school year. So, we'll start looking in April. That's what we're doing. I'm so excited! Anyway.
Thomas and I started looking in September, and we moved into this house in February. It took 6 months.
Well, that's because you found a home originally, and then it got all fucked up.
Shut up! From the time we found this home to the time we said yes and all that was only like a month.
Yeah.
But the loan process takes a little bit too. So
yeah.
I'd say if you guys start in April, you could be moving in somewhere before school starts.
Yeah, that's our goal. Fingers crossed. We just have to find the right house at the right price. That's probably our biggest issue.
I'm glad you guys are moving so that when we move, it doesn't feel as...
like you're stabbing me in the back?
Yeah.
Because we live so close to each other?
Yeah, and soon we won't.
Maybe we will. Maybe we'll move next door.
No, the house is not big enough for you guys to be your dream house.
No. Anyway, So anyway, we got off on a tangent there.
This is Books, Booze, and Besties.
Hi, I'm Caitlin.
I'm Sarah.
And this is Books, Booze,
And Besties.
Welcome back, Smuts.
I mean, we kind of already checked in. You know how we're doing. It's Sunday. Tomorrow's work day.
Gonna be a busy week.
Caitlin and her fam are hopefully going to find a dream house in less than a year. Thomas and I want a farm. We're going to start looking, and we hope to be on a farm within 2 years from now. Because we want goats.
I tried to buy a baby pig last week, and Steven said no.
Well, Steven was correct. There is no such thing as a miniature pig.
I know. He said those people, they were like using words to make it seem like they were mini pigs.
I mean, if you guys lived in your own house, I would completely support it. But indoor pigs are great, but messy, and they will chew on stuff.
Yeah. He said you have to hide snacks because they will like dig into stuff trying to find food.
Yes. That's why like there are things out there now for like if you have a house trained pig, you can get like a toy where you bury the treat in it and it has to dig it out because that's just what they like to do.
I'll probably genuinely never own a pig, but it was so cute. I sent him a picture and I was like, let's get this pig. And then he was like, that's not actually a miniature pig.
Thomas and I are going to own a pig.
That's cool.
My
mom gonna name it Bacon.
No, my mom owned 2 pigs. And my stepdad told her not to get attached, and then she named them anyways and got attached, and he said she could keep him. And then, like 2 weeks ago, she was like, guess what we're doing this weekend? And I was like, what? And she said, slaughtering our pigs. And I was like, do not feed me anything out of those.
Oh my gosh. That's sad.
I mean, that's what they got them for originally, and then...
Mom got attached.
Mm-hmm. And then they went through with it anyways.
That's brutal.
I know.
That's cold.
I met them.
I'd be nervous. You don't know when she's going to turn on you.
Well, she had no part of it. It was all my stepdad, so I guess I should be worried about him.
Obviously, they don't get too attached, so be careful when you're out there. She'll be like, guess what we're having this weekend? Sarah. Anyway, so we are just chatty Cathy's tonight. Yeah. So, we read The Whisper Man.
Did we?
Oh, at least I listened to it. It was good. They were British, you know? So.
Yeah. When I was reading the book, like, the first time when I was reading through it, I never realized they were British. And then now I do, like, half listen, half read, because I listen when I'm in the car, but read when I have free time.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it started with a person reading and it was a British accent, and then I noticed when they were talking about their setties and
they say mate
and want to have a cuddle, and I was like, oh, this is set in Britain. Cool. I mean, it wasn't bad.
Yeah. So the synopsis for The Whisper Man by Eric. Is it Eric? That's not right. Alex, sorry. When I think of North, I think of Eric Northman from True Blood, and his
the best vampire in True Blood.
Yeah,
I've seen True Blood.
He's smoking hot in the show.
I've seen all 7 seasons of True Blood, all the way through, at least 8 times, because my mom was obsessed and made me watch them with her.
How old were you? Answer: too young to be watching True Blood.
Well, very much so. Yeah.
I was 19 when no. It came out in 2007, so I was
10.
Oh my god. No judgment.
My mom loved it so much she got bootleg DVDs of it.
Oh my gosh. You just outed your mom on a podcast. We have thousands of listeners. One's bound to be a police officer.
They don't know my mom.
Just kidding. We only have like 5 listeners.
They don't know my mom.
You never know. They're going to track us. And your mom's going to go to prison. It's going to be all your fault. Anyway, Jesus.
That was rough.
This time next year, you'll be visiting your mom in jail.
This time next year, you'll be visiting me in jail.
I took a turn. Anyway, in this dark, suspenseful thriller, Alex North weaves a multi-generational tale of a father and son caught in the crosshairs of an investigation to catch a serial killer preying on a small town. After the sudden death of his wife, Tom Kennedy believes a fresh start will help him and his young son Jake heal. A new beginning, a new house, a new town, Featherbank. But the town has a dark past. 20 years ago, a serial killer, I got an itch, sorry, abducted and murdered 5 residents until Frank Carter was finally caught. He was nicknamed the Whisper Man, and he would lure his victims out by whispering at their windows at night. Just as Tom and Jake settle into their new home, a young boy vanishes. His disappearance bears an unnerving resemblance to Frank Carter's crimes, reigniting old rumors that he preyed with an accomplice. Now, detectives Amanda Beck and Pete Willis must find the boy before it's too late, even if that means Pete has to revisit his great foe in prison, the Whisper Man. Oh, wait. There was more. And then Jake begins acting strangely. He hears a whispering at his window. ... That could have been left out, I think.
Your mom could have been left out.
Did that seem weird? Like that little random... And then Jake hears a whisper at his window. ...
If you leave a door half open, soon you'll hear the whisper spoken.
Ooh. That was creepy. So, what you think?
I memorized that.
That was intense. I'm proud of you.
I'm gonna come over to your house while you're sleeping and whisper outside your bedroom. If you leave a door half open, soon you'll hear the whisper spoken.
That's creepy. Don't do that. Don't do that. Anyway. So what'd you think?
Well, I picked this book and I'd already read half of it, so obviously I liked it.
I liked it. It had some creepiness. Technically, though, spoiler alert, Francis wasn't a serial killer.
No.
Because he only
But they thought it was.
Neil.
Well, they thought it was a serial killer, though, because they thought it was.
Thought he was his accomplice. Mm-hmm. When in actuality, he only killed Neil, which was still sad.
They were under the assumption that the current killer was an accomplice of Frank, which would have made him a serial killer because he would have been a part of those 5 murders. Which is how they trick you into not realizing it's Francis for a while.
Yeah. I liked it. They really developed Tom and Jake's relationship. Mm-hmm. At the end, though, were they trying to say that Jake's mom, Rose, wasn't, like, the little girl wasn't a ghost? He had just, like, made her up?
Yeah, so this whole time, she wasn't actually a ghost. And neither was the boy in the floor. Jake was seeing things, and then his mind was creating things for him. So, like, his mother as a child. Yeah, because of the picture he had in his packet of special things. He had based his special friend off of that picture of his mom because it was the same age as him. In the house. But basically, he had created an imaginary friend to kind of protect him after losing his mom. Yeah. And when things got rough with his dad. Right. But to me, that's kind of weird because it's like she told him things like when he was abducted. She was like, I don't think you can behave certain ways here. I don't think you shouldn't draw that. I think that was Jake. His part of his personality. It was almost like warning. It was kind of like Jake had 2 personalities, really. He had him. Rose. And then Rose had kind of taken on a second personality for him. Mm-hmm. But, it was all in his imagination. Right. It was good, though. Mm-hmm. What about the boy on the floor, though? Like, how do you know? Where Francis was working at the school as an aide. That's right. George, he had told Jake after he had, picked Jake as his next victim. Yeah, never mind. I knew that. I'm just dumb. I finished it on, Wednesday. So, reminding myself of stuff. Our drink of the week is called Frankenstein.
I will never remember to just do that.
I know, I'm sitting here sipping on it. I was like, kind of strong.
I know, it hit like a little point where I was like, "Ooh, I can taste the whiskey."
It's good. It's the Frankenstein, aka the Ghostbuster, aka witch's piss.
It's all the same. I went to the liquor store and it was closed.
That's okay. We'll do that next week.
So next week I have a fun. That'll be our last one too.
And then we got to start like. We should do like fall themed stuff in November. Do like apple tasting stuff.
Ooh.
You know, like a cinnamon apple or
Yeah.
maybe even a hard cider.
Yes, pumpkin flavor.
Oh my god, I was such a little like basic white bitch. Maybe a hard cider?
Maybe like a delicious seltzer.
You know, like a White Claw?
Low carb, low cal, pumpkin spice seltzer. Let's do this.
Does White Claw make a pumpkin spice?
We're so bougie. We're bougie white bitches. Anyway.
But yes, I don't think we should jump to like Christmas themed stuff until like towards the end of November. I feel like we got to get into some fall stuff.
We're going to do some. Oh, you mean drink wise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care what we read in November. I meant like drink wise. We got to get some fall themed.
3 books picked out already.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically, let's just dedicate the whole month to Coho.
Did you see there was an article released in her local town, like in the newspaper? She has released more books than James Patterson and another author combined.
What?
Yes.
I thought James Patterson was like a heavy hitter too.
Yeah. She has a shit ton of books. And I think it said like 6 or 7 out of the top 10 bestsellers, New York bestsellers right now, are her books.
Wow.
So she's hella famous right now.
Yeah. I love Colleen Hoover.
We should read I don't know, have you read this Colleen Hoover book? It's called like Broken Hearts or something. I just saw it today. I think that should be one of the ones we read.
Okay.
It
I'm down.
Cool. I saw a quote from it where it was like, hearts don't have bones, so you can't actually have a broken heart. And then that was like...
so fucking corny.
I know. I was
don't sell me on the book by that line.
I was like, there we go.
Oh, yikes. I'm desperate need of some romance smut. So...
There was some romance in this book.
I thought Karen was going to turn out to be an accomplice.
I thought they played it up really well to make her seem, because she was shady and had the jacket and was quiet and kind of popped up out of nowhere up in Tom's business.
So I thought Karen was going to, especially like when she invited him out.
Well, and like, it kind of made sense in my head too, that she could be an accomplice, because what is one of the easiest ways to kidnap kids? Use another kid to do it.
I know.
And Karen would have been a teenager when that was going down.
Yeah, I was like, what if it pops up and like Adam's not hers? You know, it's like she's just like his nanny, or she's like using him to like make herself look better.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like heavy in my mind. But then I was like, well, I finally got to the point where I was like, okay, I don't see that playing out.
No.
But yeah, she was shady. She was really interested all of a sudden.
And then it turns out she's just a reporter doing her reporter thing.
Just a reporter. But even on the night where they went out for a drink and they were at the pub.
The pub.
And then, of course, Jake got kidnapped while they were out. I was like, ooh, this is suspicious.
Okay, but to be fair, in my head, I was like, you literally just got back to your house. The cops literally admitted to you that Norman Collins was arrested because he knew where the bones of Tony Smith were, but he had not been the one trying to kidnap Jake and was not responsible for Neil Spencer. So why the fuck would you leave your kid alone with someone you barely know the first night back in your house? Yeah. That was so fucking stupid.
Yeah. For real.
Not that Tom could have saved him anyways, because, I mean, look at Pete. Pete worked out every day.
And Pete was a police officer, too. So, I mean, I guess if you're going to leave your kid with someone. And
Francis literally said he had gone in with the intention to hurt someone. So, if it hadn't been Pete, it was going to be a Tom. So, I get that part, but...
He thought he was going to have to throw hands.
Logically, I would have been like, no.
Yeah. Well, when it said they heard someone coming in downstairs... I was like, oh my God, it's not him.
And what's up with them not locking the fucking door?
Right? Like, someone's been trying to break into your house and get your kid. Why is your door unlocked?
I mean, when he was literally showing Pete around the house before he went on his date with Karen, he's like, oh, I forgot to lock the door after Pete got here. And then Pete, being a cop, literally forgot to lock the door and Francis just walked on in.
You think they would be super duper vigilant about that stuff. So that was stupid on both their parts.
Mm-hmm. I'm also kind of surprised that Jake got picked. I don't know, maybe because he'd had a bad day when he went into school and that's why George picked him. But, I mean, Adam had been there longer. Karen was a single mom, too, who was also a reporter. You think that Adam would have been picked well before Jake even showed up.
Yeah. But I guess, doesn't he, like, pick kids with, like, almost like absentee parents?
Yeah.
So maybe he felt...
Well, I mean, but he said that Tom was an absentee parent, too, but Tom...
Yeah, Tom was super involved. Like, it probably, from the outsider's perspective, maybe it looked like he was not the best.
I think just because he saw Jake being upset at school, he assumed that Tom was a bad parent, but that was more just Jake struggling to fit in. I mean, Tom actually did try.
Yeah. Tom was a great dad, I think. I mean, as a parent looking in, it's hard to navigate all that stuff. You know, I don't know how I would do it if something happened to Steven and I was having to navigate having 3 kids by myself. And
well, the fact that he was literally questioning it all the time pointed out that, like, he was actually being, like, self-aware and conscious of, like, if he was actually doing, I mean, and if you're not thinking that, you're probably not doing a good job.
Right. Like, you're always like, am I doing the right thing? You know, is he getting what he needs? Mm-hmm. He's just always like, am I doing, you know, everything I'm supposed to be doing? And then, I don't know. Like I said, I couldn't imagine having to navigate life after a spouse passing away.
I think it was really weird how they had Rebecca pass away, though, because they talked about her being, like, pale and clammy and asked Tom to go get Jake from school and then came home and it was a heart attack.
Yeah. At, like, 30.
But that's not how a heart attack starts anyways. It's not like you're pale and clammy. You know, you have the literal stop. Everybody knows about the stop warning. Slowed speech, you're being slow, your arm hurts.
Yeah. That was weird. Like, it never really said why either, did it? Like, no. She just had a heart attack.
Yep.
At the ripe age of 30 or however old they were. Mm-hmm. Young. They were young, I know that.
Yeah.
But, so that was kind of weird.
Yeah, the fact that he was having such a hard time moving on from Rebecca, you think he would have at least, like, even talked it out with Karen and told her what had happened so that the reader knew, but...
Yeah. It was weird.
Maybe he just didn't want to harp on the past. I don't know. That makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
It was just weird how it happened.
Maybe he didn't really want to talk about it. He was trying to move forward with Karen. Or, you know, at least get to know her a little better. So it was creepy. There were definitely some creepy aspects, you know, when the person was whispering to
Jake and Neil.
I was sad though. As a mother, I don't ever want kids to die. So that was sad.
But Neil deserved it.
What?
That's what Francis said.
He's crazy. Oh, he was also looking to kill Jake. Like, as soon as he got there.
He was looking for a reason real fast.
He was like, you didn't draw on this paper like you were supposed to. I'm going to kill you, kid.
He kept Neil for 2 months. And then D.I. Amanda was like, well, he kept Neil for 2 months and well-fed and all that, so I'm sure Jake has some time. And then it's like, Jake's there for less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you, Jake. You deserve it.
Yeah, you're a naughty boy.
Naughty, naughty.
I was thinking the same thing. Naughty, naughty. But yeah, it was just like, the heck. And he was, like, I guess, you know, they said, like, his initial reason for even taking the kids was to provide a house where they were taken care of, like he did not get when he was a kid. And, I hated when it was, like, you know, telling you that he was part of
killing the other 5 kiddos.
Yeah.
And his dad literally included him so he could be like, this could be you, but I can't kill you and get away with it.
Right. And you're just like, oh my gosh.
Also,
that was disturbing.
The whole thing with Frank Carter and Tony Smith's body, he had to have several people know he was the one killing. He had to have several people involved. Norman Collins knew right away. The Julian person is the one that took the body, like, way back when.
Yeah.
So, like, there were several people already in the know, like, involved, and it still took a long time to find Frank Carter and arrest him, and then 20 years to get Tony Smith's body.
I know. I felt so bad for his parents. I don't even know the turmoil they were in just from, having their kid go missing.
I mean, for it to have been 20 years and then you've moved on, you had a daughter afterwards, like, you have an entirely different life. You're probably at the age where you're going to retire, and then it's like, okay, we finally found your child.
Yeah. At least you can lay him to rest at that point. It's just heartbreaking. I'm glad they didn't go into too much detail with, like, any of the murders of the children. And they also included that, like, sexual type stuff was not...
Yeah, not a motive.
Not a motive, so that made me not feel better, but, it didn't make it as hard to read. I don't even want to say it's good. It's a book,
Well, I think it would have been a lot harder to get through or actually enjoy if it was like they were killing kids, but also sexually assaulting them.
Yeah, gross. I can't even with all that. I don't even like to watch episodes of Criminal Minds where they're taking kids and hurting them like that. Makes me sick. Barf. Anyway.
I'm a little surprised that they didn't pull in Francis Carter's mom to, like, find Francis and stuff, to, like, ask questions.
Yeah.
Because the alias he had been using, they literally went to that kid's parents, even though, I mean, like, they didn't know at the time that he'd been passed away, but they went to his parents' house and was, like, asking about him, so I don't know why Francis Carter's mom was not.
Yeah.
I mean, because she was the wife of Frank Carter and now the mom of another killer, so, like, I don't know, it's just weird to me that they did not pull her in.
Yeah, that's really strange. She may have been scared.
They might not have even been able to find her. It took them a lot to find Francis.
She did change her name and stuff. So maybe they just, couldn't get to her. So I did not see Pete turning out to be Tom's dad.
I didn't either. I mean, I knew something had to come out of the ex-wife or girlfriend that was in the picture that was keeping him from drinking, because it made that too much of a big story. I didn't realize it was going to bring a kid into.
Especially when Frank is like, how's your family? And he's like, how's yours? And then I was like, oh, something's up with the family. But then it really surprises you when it's like his, it turns out that Pete's Tom's dad. And then I was really sad that they didn't get, like, to reset,
I think they had kind of made amends, though, in the end, because...
Well, yeah, he was letting him babysit his kid.
Well, and then Tom had also realized that Mr. Knight was actually his dad coming to see him.
Yes, so he knows, he didn't just up and abandon him.
Like, and then he acknowledged that his dad had changed. He wasn't drinking. He was trying to do right. He was still very much hung up on Tom's mom, which says a lot.
Yeah.
So I think Tom was at a point where he was going to move forward, and Pete was in a good place in that moment when whatever happened. Like, he was getting to see a grandchild he didn't know about and felt like he was making progress with Tom. So I think for him to have died where he did, was in a good spot.
Yeah. Did it ever say if he told Jake that was his dad? Because I know they kind of mentioned something at the very end. But it wasn't that.
Pete never told him. And I think Tom explained to Jake after he'd lost Pete that Pete was his dad, but he hadn't gone into detail. Or maybe he said, I wasn't ready to go into all that detail with Jake. But then Jake tells Tom that your dad used to read that book to you too when you were little.
Yeah.
Going back to you thinking that the little girl is a ghost and not his imaginary friend.
I think she was a ghost.
It very well could be his mom kind of guiding him because when he is trying to escape George/Francis's house, is like, my gorgeous boy, which is what she called him.
Yeah. And he saw her as his mother. Yeah.
So maybe she was. And
I think she's a ghost.
Who knows? Maybe he really was seeing the boy in the floor. Because it wasn't just like, there's a boy in the floor. It was like, he was very mean and I was scared of him and now I'm glad he's going to go home. It was a little more than just imaginary friends.
Talking in his voice and stuff like that. Like, nah, bro.
Well, and then also Pete dropped that bombshell that Tom wasn't there the night that Pete left. So there's no way Tom would have seen all that happened with the glass and the fighting.
Yeah.
So insinuated a little bit.
Yeah. I think she was a ghost.
I really do think it was his mom trying to come back and protect him because she knew it was going to be hard. And it was easier to look after Jake than it was to look after Tom because Jake needed her more than Tom did.
For sure. Excuse me. Yeah, I think she was a ghost. I think she wanted to come back and help him. Especially warn him. Like, it's almost like she knew. Because, I mean, she told him all those sayings. Which he did see them written.
Right, but that's the last thing she told him before they moved. At the 567 Club, she told him to repeat it. There were some things that were weird with the little girl that kind of freaked me out. And were kind of weird if you were looking at it as the mom's ghost. Like when Tom is going to go out with Karen and the girl was like, do you want to have a new mommy? Do you want to lose your old mommy? Do you want Karen to replace her?
Yeah.
That sounded more like Jake in his mind than...
Yeah.
Which maybe it was also his mom trying to get him to stop Tom from going out. I don't know. She could have just been doing it to try to get Jake to make a scene, but that part was a little weird to me.
I thought so too. Like, why is she being extra now? Why is she being a biatch? But yeah, I mean, it could have been like maybe she was trying to get him to throw a fit so he wouldn't go out. Even so, though, it would have just been, maybe he would have locked the damn door and it wouldn't have been an issue.
It also makes sense, too, if she was a ghost, why she didn't follow them immediately to the new house, because she would have been stuck in the old place. But then the stuff with Francis started and she popped back up, so.
Yeah. And she was about the right age when he was just, like, kids were disappearing. So, I think she was a ghost. I'm going to go with ghost.
I honestly, at first, I thought she was a ghost. I didn't think she was Jake's mom's ghost. I thought that she was another victim that they didn't know about.
I thought that too, but then I was like, well, that's all boys. And then it occurred to me, I was like, it was just like one of those little thoughts where you're like, probably not. But I was like, I wonder if it's his mom as a child. Because I was trying to think of like what other girl would be there to want to be with him and stuff like that. And so I did think, I was like, I wonder if his mom is a kid. So my brain works on occasion.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes, not all the time. But, so that was good. So there were some like twists and turns I didn't see coming. You know, I almost died when the Tom came down and Jake was at the door. And the fingers were coming through. I was like, oh my God. Like, it just freaked me out so bad. That's terrifying. That's a nightmare, someone breaking into your home.
Well, I mean, just think about it. Like, the only reason George even knew where they lived, / Francis, is because he worked at the school, which means he just looked up that information and knew where to go.
Yeah.
People at your children's school can just come to your house.
Shut the front door. That's so scary. Now I'm going to be on the lookout, Bolo.
I mean, he was literally climbing up the side of the house to whisper in Jake's window using the drain pipe.
Yeah. Ugh. Screw that. See, the good thing is like most of my kids sleep in our bed. So.
Make sure your windows are locked.
They are. Steven, Steven, he's like super crazy about locking doors.
Logical. He's logical about it. Yes. Actually, since reading this book, I've had this fear of like someone breaking in. So
I know.
Because it happens so many times in this book.
Mm-hmm. People just be breaking in left and right. I'm like, real life is not like this. It's not this crazy.
I mean, it was a pretty straightforward book. I know the last couple book reviews we've given, we complained about how the ending was just so sped up. I feel like this book did a lot better at spacing out all of the drama. I mean, you have Pete and Jake, that's spaced out. Tom looking for Jake, even though it's all in one day, is so spaced out.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I feel like they give a little bit of a conclusion that doesn't leave a lot of questions, which we've had that problem too a little bit. So,
yeah, I mean, this book was definitely straightforward. You know, there was some creepiness, a little bit of romance, grief. I mean, there's a lot of different stuff going on in this book. And then we got a good ending. I felt like, you know, there was like you said, the thing with Pete, you know, Jake being kidnapped.
I think it was weird that Pete knew he was dying, like the way they wrote that chapter. Like, he was literally like, I know my life is flashing before my eyes right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that was weird. But yeah, I mean, I was sad. I wanted him to live so they could maybe have a relationship like they didn't get.
But I knew one of them had to die. Either Tom was going to die because of Francis or Pete was going to die because of Francis. Like, they couldn't both get really injured and survive.
Well, at one point I was like, is Tom going to get killed? And then Pete is going to end up raising Jake.
It's going to be Amanda got the call from the hospital saying Pete has woken up. And then she got there and Tom died from Francis stabbing him because he refused to let Francis get up.
That's what I was wondering too. I was like, are they going to kill off Tom and let Pete raise Jake because he did not get to have that relationship with Tom as a child?
Which, another thing that was really off to me, I mean, it doesn't have to be really off, but it was just weird. Tom was able to just lay on top of Francis and subdue him, but Pete, who is super buff and stuff, while he was caught off guard, still, like, just fucking went down.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's because Tom was, like, not gonna let anything happen to Jake, like the adrenaline and stuff, and Pete was just caught off guard.
Yeah.
But it was just like...
And Pete got hit in the head, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought. So, I mean, I know Tom got stabbed, but maybe just the head injury was just too severe, which obviously it was because he died.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just sad. Like, I wanted them to have, like, get to, like, hit the reset button, which I know is hard to do after you're abandoned.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of. But
I think after finding out he wasn't really abandoned, then
yeah,
kind of changed things for him.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yawn. But he wasn't abandoned. And then, oh, I had something. Where'd it go? I lost it.
I feel like they could have went into D.I. Amanda's background a little bit more, because they made her one of the main characters, but all you know is she kind of lives alone at home, and she was ambitious, and she originally thought she was going to take after D.I. Lyons and wanting to move up, but then she realized she was more like Pete and that she took things personally and couldn't let them go.
Right. Oh, I was going to say, but it must, you know, trying to empathize with Pete, it must be really, I couldn't imagine having to do a job where you're finding all these murdered kids and not want to use negative coping skills like drinking alcohol or using drugs or whatever, you know, and then still have to be able to compartmentalize. Like, I'm really good at compartmentalizing in the job that we do, but you know, they're like, it's way different. You know, you're seeing these murdered children and you're not able to bring justice to their family because, you know, until you have the killer and until he got Frank. But even so, even when he finally was like, we got the killer to these children, there was still Tony, who was missing for 20 years. So it's like, I can't ever bring peace to this family. So it's just like, there's no closure there. Mm-mm. Like, all the kids are accounted for. We have the killer behind bars. He never got, like, that closure. So it was just, like, this open wound his entire life. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, no freaking wonder he was abusing alcohol.
Well, I mean, the Frank Carter stuff had to happen after Tom and his mom left anyways. Because Tom would have been, like, 30 and it had been
Yeah.
20 years. So I don't know if Pete had always had the problem because of his dad, because it sounded like he had a shitty dad too.
Right.
Or if he just had a hard job and it just kept getting worse.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know, like, all the stuff with Frank, even before he knows Frank, all that stuff was just eating him alive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else to say.
I was on a tangent and I forgot what we were talking about. Oh, about how he must have just had a hard life in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which, even though he kept telling himself that he was worthless and stuff because of his dad saying those things to him, he was a drunk, but it seemed like he didn't actually ever take it out on Shelley and Tom.
Right.
It was just bothering them because he said that the only time he ever really got violent was that last night, and he hadn't thrown the glass at Shelley. He had just thrown the glass because she said she was leaving.
Right.
So he did make a difference between him and his dad. I mean, because he really did try to be there for Tom. He even came into Tom's life, after he left.
Right.
For a little bit. So
yeah,
I think he did try to break that cycle.
Mm-hmm. He did. I mean, no matter what, even if you try really hard to be there, even when you're abusing alcohol, it's still going to take a toll on your family.
Tom needs some serious therapy. He lost his mom to cancer, like really rough cancer 5 years ago. Then he lost Rebecca suddenly, and now he's...
Rebecca? Or Rose?
That's Rebecca.
Really?
Yeah.
I could have swore it was Rose.
Let me look.
That's going to bother me. It probably is Rebecca because you're
on the day Rebecca died, I picked Jacob by myself.
Where'd I get Rose?
I think it's Rose Carter, Frank Carter's wife.
Oh, okay. I was like...
I think it's Rose and Francis, and then Tom, Jake, and Rebecca.
Oh, okay. I was like, you're probably right, but just make sure because that'll bother me.
Yeah.
Because you're better at remembering all their names.
I feel like this book that's another thing we'd been a little annoyed with too recently, with all books having a ton of characters. While this one had a few, like they had spread them out enough and explained their stories well that you didn't, like it was easy to keep up with.
Yeah,
most
I
of
thought
them.
so too. Even when, even the audiobook, when like it would start somebody new, it like made sure you knew it was that new person. Like I was never like, wait, how did we get to Amanda from Tom? Mm-hmm. We always were aware.
I think because they had fewer characters, that's how they were able to give so much story to everybody too.
Yeah.
Even though I would like more for like Amanda and even Karen, it still like was a whole story. Like it answered a lot of questions. It didn't really leave you hanging.
I didn't feel like there was anything where I was like, well, wait, I need more explanation on this. Yeah, character development for like Amanda and whatever could have been better.
Yeah.
But it didn't hurt the story to not know.
Yeah.
Their backstory.
Yeah, I think this was just a really well written book. And it wasn't too long, but it was long enough to be a good story.
Right.
It had a couple it had a couple twists and turns in there that you did not see coming.
Right.
There may or may not have been a ghost.
I think there was.
I mean, they insinuated... It's fine. They insinuated it too much with talking about Tom being sensitive, too, for it to not be.
Yeah. I agree. A good written story, a well-written story.
Alex North has some other spooky stories we should check out sometime.
Next Halloween.
Yeah.
No.
Or if we ever want another spooky story to mix in.
We can start rolling in. In January, I'd really like to just do, like, all kinds of different stuff. I know right now we're kind of focused on certain things for the holiday season. But, in January, we can just go wherever we want to go.
In January, we should start doing a thing where it's like, each month we do one of each category. Like one mystery, one horror, one romance, and something else, you know?
Because we really haven't done a romance since after. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm jonesing my smut. So.
Yeah.
I'd be down with,
Which I think we're going to get a good bit.
Oh, yeah.
In the after our final spooky book of October, like, it's going to be Colleen Hoover for a month straight, so.
Yeah.
We will definitely get it.
Yes. I'm so excited. No Pants November. Just for the characters, not for us, weirdo.
No shave November. What do you mean?
No, no pants for our characters because they're having so much sex.
No shave for me.
What are you talking about? I haven't shaved all month. It's only October.
I don't shave anymore, so it's fine.
Actually, I got razors today, so my goal in this week is to shave my legs. Steven will appreciate it.
You have to make it a goal.
I do. I hate shaving my legs.
Shaving doesn't bother me. There are some things that I find tedious that annoy me, even though it's something you should do, and I feel great after I do it. But brushing my teeth and showering are so tedious and annoying that I absolutely hate doing them.
Well, you think, like, it's not just showering. It's showering, washing your hair, conditioning,
washing your body.
Out. Yeah, washing your body.
Washing my face.
Shaving if you need to.
Then you gotta dry off. Moisturize.
Dry your hair. I don't dry my hair a lot because it's so dry anyway.
I mean, I don't dry my hair, but I gotta comb it out, get all the tangles out, get all the loose hair.
And then, like, last night, I did my makeup really good. Mm-hmm. I dried my hair and then I curled it. And it was just like, ugh.
And brushing my teeth, I don't know why, because it only takes like 5 minutes, but it's just because you can't do anything else while you're doing it. You have to literally just stand there.
Just stand there and brush. I get it.
Like when I'm putting deodorant on, I can walk around and do stuff. When I'm putting perfume on, it takes 5 seconds. When I'm combing my hair, I can still like do stuff. It just, I don't know. Those two things just get me. I don't know why. They just
brushing teeth is such a pain. I hate it. Anyway, so I guess that's all we got for the Whisper Man.
Yeah, we talked about a great book, and you learned some fun facts about us. Some FFs, if you will.
Some FFs. Hashtag FFs.
Caitlin has picked out our final spooky book.
Woohoo! Misery by Stephen King.
I've never read it or seen the movie.
She has no idea, guys. She's a babe.
I have no idea.
Never even heard of it until I mentioned it.
I'm about to be raw dogging it.
Yikes. Ooh, she's in for a wild ride. Because I started reading this book when I was a teenager and I couldn't finish it.
So I wasn't even born yet.
So I think I was 17. So 18 years later, I'm going to pick it back up. My God.
I'm like, it's almost been 2 decades. How does that make you feel?
Old. But I'm not old. I'm only 35, guys.
It's 10 days until my birthday.
And 10 days since my birthday. Ooh. That's exciting.
You've been 35 for 10 days. In 10 days, I'll be 25.
That's crazy. So, couple things. We wanted to shout out our person who's been listening from Van Lear, Kentucky. I don't even know where that's at. Do you?
I think I looked it up one time, right? It's like out past Bowling Green, I think.
Yes, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think we know who this person is, and we appreciate you. You have stuck it by us for almost all of our episodes. We're happy that you're here. If you wanna, you can DM us and say, "Hey, you guys."
That's all you say. Hey.
I'm the awesome person from Van Lear, Kentucky. You can always find us on social media, Instagram, Facebook. I don't do anything on TikTok. Or not TikTok. Well, also, I haven't done almost anything on
She doesn't
TikTok.
do anything on Twitter. We will make TikToks. When we can get back on track and record on Saturdays, we'll probably be more active on TikTok.
This has just been a crazy couple weeks.
Yeah, it's the season. It's that time of year.
It is. We're always on social media. You can also find us on YouTube. We are still waiting to get those 100 followers on Instagram and Facebook in order to do our 3 months of Audible.
It's an Audible giveaway.
Audible is insane. Come on now. I love Audible. I've been spending so much money on it. It's crazy.
Because you have to buy credits and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Just do Scribd.
I don't have time to read.
Scribd is audio and ebook.
Is it?
And it's $12 a month.
Holy crap.
I mean, it doesn't always have the audiobook we're reading. I think it's only not had the book I needed one time, and I used Audible for that. But so far, it's had pretty much every book.
That's awesome. I'll have to check it out. So sponsor us, Scribd and Audible.
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm keep waiting for like HelloFresh to reach out because they're always like the first ones, and you can always tell when they start getting people wanting them to promote. It's HelloFresh, Best Fiends. So I'm just waiting on those calls, man. Just waiting. Anyway, we have some people from Texas listening in. You can also catch us on Crime, Booze, and Besties. That's our other podcast where we discuss a true crime
and
case and a supernatural case. Do we have anything else?
No, I mean, that sums it up.
All right. Good deal. So that's it. Peace.
See you next chapter, smuts.
Later.